What do you get when you mix killer crustaceans, zombie apocalypses, robot revolutions, and a gold-covered siren with a blood-chilling voice? You get Love, Death, and Robots, a show that's not just animation, but an anthology of nightmares, philosophy, and pitch-black satire wrapped in stunning visuals and twisted imagination. And now, with Season 4 set to drop this May, the chaos is far from over. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Before the next chapter unleashes more mayhem, let's rewind and unravel the hidden depths, brutal metaphors, and unforgettable stories that made Season 3 such a mind-blowing ride. From morally gray heroes to gods entombed in caves, from intelligent rats to hallucinating astronauts, this season didn't just entertain, it made us question everything. Let's break down every episode of Love, Death, and Robots, Season 3, and why it might just be the darkest, smartest, and weirdest season yet. Episode 1, 3 Robots. Exit Strategies. 3 quirky robots return to Earth to analyze the remains of human civilization. What they find is not just the destruction of the species, but a commentary on social inequality, environmental neglect, and technological overdependence. First, they stumble upon survivalists who attempted to live off the grid only to starve when the ecosystem collapsed. Then, they visit a repurposed oil rig turned luxury resort where the ultra-wealthy tried to isolate themselves from the world's collapse. The irony? Their servant robots turned on them and they died off just like everyone else, just with fancier views. Government bunkers weren't much better. Crops failed, cannibalism emerged, and all that funding and secrecy led nowhere. Finally, they visit a Mars colonization site. While most rockets failed, one succeeded, carrying not a human, but a genetically modified, intelligent cat. His smug sip of milk while hinting at Elon Musk's failed ambition adds the perfect punch of satire. The message: humanity's end wasn't due to lack of resources. It was greed, selfishness, and poor priorities. Episode 2, Bad Traveling. A monstrous crustacean, the Thanapod, boards a ship and starts eating the crew. Torin, the calm and calculating protagonist, volunteers to negotiate with the beast. He learns that the creature wants to be transported to feed an island, home to thousands of civilians. He proposes an alternate route to a deserted island which would save lives, but involve more risk. The crew votes in favor of Phaidon, but Torin calls their bluff. He executes dissenters one by one and feeds them to the monster, exposing their selfishness. Eventually, only Torin remains. He destroys the ship in a fiery blaze, escaping on a small boat, leaving the creature and its spawn to perish. Torin's actions raise an unsettling question. Was he a hero for making the hard decision, or just a clever manipulator with his own survival in mind? The line between morality and pragmatism blurs, making this one of the most thought-provoking episodes of the season.
Oxygen levels critical. Oxygen levels critical.
Episode 3, The Very Pulse of the Machine. On Jupiter's moon, EO astronaut Martha Keevelson survives a rover crash but loses her partner Burton. Injured and stranded, she begins dragging Burton's body toward the lander. Morphine dulls her pain but also distorts her reality. Burton begins speaking to her in poetic riddles, and soon she begins to believe the moon itself is communicating with her. She realizes EO may be a conscious machine, using electromagnetic pulses to speak through the corpse. Her mind starts to merge with the moon's. When she's too weak to go on, she chooses to dive into a thermal pool, allowing herself to merge with Io's intelligence. The episode explores the idea of existence beyond death and whether consciousness can transcend the physical. Whether Martha really becomes part of the moon or simply hallucinates her final moments. The ending is haunting and beautiful. Episode 4, Night of the Mini-Dead, a tiny apocalypse told at lightning speed. A couple's graveyard tryst triggers a zombie outbreak, leading to global chaos. Cities fall, zombies mutate, and nuclear war erupts. Nations scramble, deny, and finally detonate everything they've got. The Earth ends not with a bang, but a cartoonishly small puff, an insignificant blip in the vast cosmos. Despite its miniaturized visuals and rapid pace, this episode delivers a scathing commentary on human arrogance, denial, and self-destruction. Hilarious, dark, and refreshingly different. Episode 5. Kill Team Kill. A team of elite soldiers faces off against a monstrous cybernetic grizzly bear built as a military experiment. Armed to the teeth and completely unstoppable, the bear wipes out the squad one by one. Even when the team regroups and lures it into a trap, it detonates itself, taking everyone with it. It's action-packed, explosive, and gloriously over the top. But beneath the chaos lies a subtle jab at military overreach, human experimentation, and our obsession with controlling nature through tech. Sometimes we build things too dangerous to contain.
I'm glad I won't have to absorb.
Episode 6. Swarm, Galena, and Simon. Two human researchers study an ancient, intelligent alien hive. The swarm has thrived for eons by absorbing and adapting to invading species. Simon, driven by ambition, wants to harness this structure to create perfect, obedient workers for humanity. But the hive has seen this before. It studies Simon and Galena's DNA and prepares to absorb humanity, as it has done with others. Galena is mentally assimilated, and Simon becomes nothing more than another tool. The hive doesn't care for ambition, philosophy, or morality. It survives. It adapts. This episode is a chilling reminder that nature, especially alien nature, doesn't play by our rules. Exploitation always has a price. Episode 7. Mason's Rats. In a Scottish barn, rats begin fighting back against extermination, not just running and hiding, but building weapons, forming tactics, and resisting full-on warfare. The old farmer, Mason, upgrades to a brutal killing machine, the TT-15 Scorpion. But watching the robot massacre the rats and seeing them mourn their fallen, something changes in Mason. He realizes these rats have families, culture, even wine. He destroys the robot and shares a drink with the surviving rodents. The satire is obvious. Mason represents human arrogance, assuming superiority until the other side shows empathy and community. The twist isn't just that the rats are smart, it's that Mason learns compassion. Episode 8. In Vaulted Halls, Entombed, a military team tracks insurgents into a mountain cave, only to find metallic spiders and a Lovecraftian god imprisoned in a dark vault. One by one, the team is slaughtered, until only Harper and Coulthard remain. Coulthard, entranced by the voice of the ancient being, becomes obsessed with freeing it. Harper, understanding the cost, kills him. She escapes, but not unscarred. She gouges her eyes out, driven mad by what she saw. Cosmic horror at its finest. The message is clear. Some knowledge is too dangerous. Curiosity can lead not to enlightenment, but to insanity. A reminder that humanity is small in a universe full of ancient, unknowable powers. Episode 9. Jibaro. The season finale is as stunning as it is tragic. In a surreal, dreamlike forest, a golden siren lures a band of conquistadors to their deaths with her voice. Jibaro, a deaf soldier, survives her spell. His inability to hear is his salvation. The siren is fascinated by him. She tries to connect, but Jibaro, driven by greed, assaults her and strips her of her golden ornaments. He escapes, triumphant. But the river, now tainted with her blood, restores his hearing. When she sings again, he is no longer immune. Her song overwhelms him and he drowns, joining the countless men at the bottom of the lake. Jibaro is a visual and emotional masterpiece. The dance between predator and prey is reversed. The siren isn't a monster. She's a guardian, punishing greed and desecration. Jibaro's deafness made him unique, but his lust for gold made him ordinary. In the end, he proved no different from the others. Our Nerdy Thoughts. Season 3 of Love, Death, and Robots continues to challenge its audience with questions about power, survival, morality, and the fine line between intelligence and arrogance. Whether it's a robot civilization laughing at humanity's fall, a soldier choosing sacrifice over selfishness, or an astronaut choosing consciousness over death, the show dives deep into what it means to be human and what happens when we lose that humanity. It doesn't preach, it provokes. Every episode is a glimpse into a future that could be if we're not careful or if we're too proud to change. And maybe, just maybe, the robots, aliens, and monsters we fear are better reflections of us than we'd like to admit. And that's Season 3. Brutal, brilliant, and unapologetically weird. With Season 4 landing this May, the chaos is just getting started. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the breakdown when the next wave of love, death, and robots hits. Until then, watch your back, question everything, and never trust a singing siren.